Hi, it's Nick Walters. Welcome back to another edition of the Grant Mining Methods Grants of the Week, and for me to offer up Nick's picks for my favorite grants that I think hopefully will help you to continue to impact your communities. Remember, there are 220,000 private foundations in the United States, and less than 10% of them have a website. So the question remains, how do I find them? Well, hopefully a few of these picks will help you out. So we'll jump right into it for this, the week of November 29th. The National Fish and Wildlife Foundation has some urban waters restoration grant monies, and this is primarily focused on water quality, watersheds, species, and habitats. But what they're looking for are nonprofits, governmental agencies, tribal governments, and even educational institutions to give out some of their funding for restoration, maybe of wetlands or forests, or a tree canopy enhancement, or monitoring water quality, a myriad of things that you could use the money for. There is a cap to the funding of $50,000. It's usually between $20,000 and $50,000 with an average of about $35,000 per grant. You can find out more about the grant by going to our website at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button called Nick's Picks and learn more about this before the January 25th deadline for you to get in this application. Our next grant, it comes from the Peace Development Fund, and this is used specifically for community organizing in the United States, in Mexico, and in Haiti. Now, if you are working with a group, directly working with the group, meaning you are the group, okay, not just trying to help some other group, but if you are the group and you can make their December 29th deadline, they've got some smaller grants between $2,500 and $7,500 for you to help your efforts, particularly if you are trying to help new groups understand how to be more accessible into the structure and the power structure that is going on within those particular communities. You do have to be, as a nonprofit, have a budget of at least $250,000 before that they will consider your application. This is a great example for those nonprofits to follow what I always call the golden rule, right? For these foundations, it's their gold and they'll make their own rules. And so this is a rule that they put out that it needs to you need to have a budget of $250,000 or less to be able to apply for the Peace Development Fund's grant money for community organizing. Our next one comes from the Bob Barker Company Foundation. Now, those of you who are as old as me and have watched Bob Barker on The Price is Right, this is not the same Bob Barker, okay? This is another fella named Bob Barker, and his company has a foundation where they are really focused in on incarcerated individuals, right? Those that are trying to reenter society after they get out of incarceration. So you've got to have at least 100 people that you are working with in a year's time frame in order to access these funds. But this is to help them your overhead and programming so that you can continue to do the things that you are doing, hopefully, that can help these individuals on a physical, spiritual, and emotional basis so that we cut down on the recidivism, meaning about that revolving door that unfortunately happens too many times in communities, particularly for those who have a hard time adjusting to life outside of prison. The monies range between $5,000 and $25,000. You can submit the applications all throughout the year, so that's a positive thing. You can learn more about it by going back to our website at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button called Nick's Picks and learn more about the Bob Barker Company Foundation monies. So the Schmidt Futures and Roads Trust have put together something called the RISE Challenge. And this is for youth ages 15 to 17. These are monies going directly to the youth. Okay, so you don't have to be a nonprofit. This is you as an individual. But what they're looking for are ways to help boost those 15 through 17-year-olds that are really doing some things and making a difference in their community. It could be scholarship. It could be for mentorship. It could be access to career development. There are different things you can use the money for. So they would really prefer that you really excel in the STEM fields. It's something that they think really makes a big difference. But you can learn more about that for their December 22nd deadline by going to our website at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button that says Nick's Picks, and you can find out all the information about this. The Aldi grocery store chain, and if any of you have an Aldi, ALDI grocery store in your community, you might be interested in their Smart Kids program. They are looking for ways to encourage children who actively participate in education, physical activity, nutrition, socializing, and the arts. You've got to be a 501c3 nonprofit in order to apply. You could be a public or private K through 12 school or faith-based organizations that really benefit children in those particular communities. You've got a December 15th deadline, but this is another example of how corporations sometimes will give money directly from their corporation out to the community without going through a foundation. Many groups, like many that we've discussed, those corporations will take their an annual allotment of money, typically based off of how well their fiscal year went the year before, and they will take those monies and put them directly into a foundation, and then the foundation is the one that makes the grants and puts the money out the door. Sometimes, though, it's directly from the company, and this is one right here that comes from the Aldi grocery store chain for their Smart Kids program. So the grants are about $5,000 each. And if you're a nonprofit interested in that, go back to our website at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button called Nick's Picks and learn more about this particular grant program. The Griffin Heart Foundation is working to promote conservation, research, and teaching that are able to help people live more civilly, right? With more civility. Their idea is, hey, look, we can have different ideas and come from different places, but we could at least make sure that our dialogue is civil, and as we learn to understand each other and to talk more and to open dialogue for our community. Their December 15th deadline is when you would need to get that application in. The amounts vary, so there's not any one particular amount, but you can learn all those details by going back to our website at easygrants.us, clicking on the big blue button for Nick's Picks, and learn more about this particular grant. Then our last one is in the arts program, and it comes from the Gladys Kriebel Delmas Foundation. They are particularly interested in studying Venice and the Venetian Empire. So get your Marco Polo going. And if you want to learn more about that and want to study more about that, it could be art, architecture, science, political science, religion, theater, a myriad of different groups, as long as that scholarship is focused around their Venetian research program. The grants are for up to $20,000 plus a stipend to spend time in Venice. If you are a PhD candidate and you are applying, you must have at least completed all your coursework if you're doing it as a part of your PhD. Other than that, if you know how to do advanced research at the graduate level, you may find that this December 15th deadline to apply back to the Gladys Kriebel Delmas Foundation for U.S. Venetian research might be just your thing. So you can learn more about that by going back to our website at easygrants.us, clicking on that big blue button called Nick's Picks, and learn all about it. Hey, keep doing what you're doing to make our communities a better place. Thanks.